Are you living the life that you expected to be at this point in time in your life, regardless of what that is? Are you living it? Are you actually doing what you thought you wanted to do or where you be doing at this moment in time? If you are, great. Keep scrolling and ignore us because we're not here to help you. But if you aren't happy with where you are and you're looking for something to be different, then reach out because we have an option. And it's that simple. But it takes you to reach out. One of the things that I wish I knew about before was that there was an online business option that I didn't have to build a website for. I didn't have to find suppliers for. I didn't have to design the marketing for. I didn't have to do any of that crap. And I can say that wholeheartedly because for years, that's what I thought I had to do. I thought an online business was basically that I had to build a website, create the email system. All of the above is what I thought I had to do. Well, thank goodness we finally found one that we don't have to do any of that. We just have to focus. It's that simple. And for us, and mindset, we have to focus on our mindset because, with so much of the negativity in the world, we got to look for the good. We got to find the positive and we got to stay on that path. Because if you're looking for negative, well, let's just say thoughts become things, right? You got to pay attention. You got to get in the game. And now we're in it to win it. So how about you?
Oh,
That's nice. It's really lovely.
yes, wherever you are watching from, we are back at it again. Welcome to yet another episode of the Digital Business Forum. Your host tonight, my name is David Kibalama. Excited to be coming to you tonight with a very experienced individual in the digital space, our guest, Elden from Canada. Yes, Elden. Yes, I'll go ahead and introduce myself. If you're here for the very first time, my name is David. Like I said, I'm a consultant in cybersecurity here in the US. I'm a digital entrepreneur, and I co-host this digital business forum every Sunday with the wonderful ladies you see here, Ferry, Dorothy N, and Dorothy M. And I'll let each one of these ladies introduce themselves. And then finally have guests for tonight. Elden, introduce himself. Ferry, we'll go in the order: Ferry, Dorothy N, and Dorothy M.
Hello, everybody. Hello, our viewers. Welcome. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. For most of us who are out of the US, it's really night here. I think we're making it midnight already. Yeah, I'm really sleepy, but I'm going to catch myself. No sleep tonight because Elden Haug is in the house. Thank you so much for your time. We really appreciate your presence, our viewers. And for all those that are going to catch a replay, please, you're most welcome to do so. By way of introduction, my name is Ferrin Kanji. I'm an entrepreneur, a mother, a wife, and an educationist, and a proud digital business owner. To all the parents out there, you need to hear this. I don't want to talk too much, really, because it's not my show. But growing up, you really need to hear this, all the parents out there. Growing up, my dad was a very successful entrepreneur, just like you see Eldon here. Unknowingly, he taught me the value of working for myself because usually we learn through watching things. Yes, so I watched him. He had control of his time. He had control of his earning. There was no limit to how much he could earn, and that inspired me to being an entrepreneur. I worked my first job for teaching job as a teacher for a very short time, and I walked out into entrepreneurship in which I started to homeschool my children. And that's when my husband brought this brilliant idea of this online business we're going to be sharing with you tonight. Yes. And I jumped on. I've never regretted. So I don't want to take too much of your time because I can really speak, but I can take too much of your time, but I don't want to. And at this point, I'm welcoming Elden again once more. Thank you so much. The biggest entrepreneur, online entrepreneur. I'm willing to learn from you as well as we go on. Thank you for coming and honoring our invitation. Back to you, David. Thank you.
Dorothy N.
Okay, hi everybody. We are live. Oh, guys, I'm just super excited. By the way, my name Dorothy Nakalima. For those, if it's your first time to see me, my name is Dorothy Nakalima. Originally from Uganda. Currently, I live in the U.S. California, and a proud digital business owner, a mom. I'm just excited that we have an expert who has been in this field for over 15 years. And guess what? The 15 years, it means he has been doing other, online business. And finally, he's like, this is the online business ever. So I'm just excited. And the other thing is the first gentleman is a first gentleman guest on our platform. Wow, it is really, really amazing. And please tune in and don't scroll. Just watch to the end. There's a lot of information. This expert is gonna share a lot of information. And thank you very much for coming, Mr. Eldin. I really, really appreciate it.
Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, Dorothy, for that introduction. Dorothy M.
All
Please.
right, my name is Dorothy. I want to welcome Dr. Elden. We are so grateful that he's here with us to give us all the tricks and all the good things about this online business. So, I am a healthcare professional and a digital business entrepreneur. And, I've never looked back because entrepreneurship is the way to go. And especially digital, when everything else is going digital, you don't want to be left behind. And you know what? We have somebody who has the real experience that, you need to hear so that you can make an informed decision. We are happy to have all our followers, all our viewers today. And we hope you're going to make a decision today, depending on what you're going to hear today. All right. Today's the day. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dorothy. And now let's have our guest, Elden. Take it away.
Yes.
Thank you so much. I mean, you're very humbling. So I didn't want to say thank you each time. I thought I'd save it till the end, but thank you all for having me. I really appreciate it. And I hope that I will be able to share some information for your guests and your viewers that actually is something they didn't know. I don't know. Well, time will tell. But thank you very much for the very warm welcome and the great intro that you gave me. I'm kind of humbled by all that. So, but thank you. So to give a little quick history of who I am. So I am Eldon, and yes, I have over 15 years of online digital experience in different markets in different ways. When it comes to business models, I've done many different business models over the years, and I would say I call myself a serial entrepreneur, mostly. And that's because over the course of the years, I've done, I think my first business was when I was like 15 years old, and that was raising animals to sell for different things. And since then, it always gets in your skin, right? You always have that little part of you that always is looking for something more. And so over the course of the years, I've tried and tested many, many things. And really wholeheartedly, what we have in our business community now is the best combination of things that I've ever seen that I think everybody should do. And I may be a little biased, but at the same time, I think that we have something for everybody.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, Eldon. I have a question for you here to kind of start the conversation, and all our viewers out there. Yes, and it's could you elaborate on your journey into the digital online business world for our audience? What motivated you to get into digital business rather than traditional business?
Okay. And so I can easily answer that question because I did have traditional businesses. So I did have a brick and mortar, and I even did it a little bit different, and I had a combination of brick and mortar with online, with doing what we would call events, trade show events, and so whenever you're doing that type of business, you really have to put in the time, right? So even in the online business space, it doesn't mean that you actually, like in most businesses, when you're doing online stuff, you may have to deal with the shipping of the product. You may have to deal with the website design. You may have to deal with the email campaign. It's a very comprehensive and can be extremely complicated way to do your business, and it takes time. And so when I was looking for one after years of trying and testing, and this one came along, I realized that, like in that little intro video, I didn't have to build a website. That's a huge thing. I didn't have to design the email campaign. I didn't have to look after it, because honestly, when you're having to do that, it takes up so much of your time. You don't have any energy left to actually market your business. And really, it's kind of like when you open the doors for a customer, right? You always have to be open and running your business to welcome your customers in. Well, by the time in the past, when I was done all of my tech stuff, I didn't care about the customers. They were more of an inconvenience because I was exhausted. And the beauty of this business is that it has everything for you, right? It's all there. So you really focus on your marketing, which is really the key part. So, what motivated me to enter this field? And so throughout the course of the whole time, you're always looking for something to improve, right? You're looking for better ways to make money. You're looking for better ways to deal with inventory. You're looking for better ways to improve. So when I found this business, or when we found this business, I knew what I didn't want. And I think that is over the course of the years, I knew what I no longer wanted.
Right.
I had enough, right? And so this one ticked all the boxes I didn't want. And that really is the reason why I'm doing it. Does that answer your question? Do you want me to elaborate more?
Oh, yes. Yes, it does. Yes, it does. Thank you very much for that explanation. Ferry, let's have you, take Elden
Yes.
through our next question.
Yes, Elden, were there any specific events or experiences that inspired you to become an entrepreneur in the online realm?
Yes.
Any
And
specific experiences that made you turn and say, I'm going online?
well, that's, in the whole time that, lots of things were online because everybody's going online, right? So you can literally do everything online now, and more every single day. So, I mean, and a lot of people just do this business from their phones.
Right.
That's how mobile this business is. So I'm going to do it in two different ways. So the first part is anything that made me want to go online. So I'll do that in previous this business and then because of this business. And there's a reason I do this. And so previously, without this business, I was trying to find a better way to give me more time to do what I wanted to do and have an online business that ran all the time for me. Okay, that was previous. Then, and it was a lot of merchandise products and so on and so forth. But then what happened was that lovely pandemic, and that made things even more intense to really get an online business going that didn't rely on anybody, right?
Right.
And that was the important part, is because during that time, a lot of people lost jobs because you can't go and do things. So, I mean, I lost jobs during that time because of other businesses. They had to shut down. And so I needed something purely online. And this is purely online. And that's why this one is the most important. Does that cover it?
Yes, it does. How have you been able to identify? You've been online for 15 years, haven't you? Yeah. How have you been able to identify a good opportunity to jump on?
It's been,
Because there are quite many out there. Yes.
there's lots out there. There's lots out there, and I've made dumb mistakes. So, a lot of my life lessons are, because I used to be a little more, well, I don't know about that, but because I still do, but I was a big risk taker, right? If I saw something that I thought had potential, I wanted to test it. And then I would do something and test it to see if it actually lived up to what it did. What I learned is that, and even with this business, I was skeptical. Okay, but I'll answer that later. But when you're looking at things, and they tell you things, and you go into the business and different things, and you realize that a what you've been pitched is not what you're going to get, right?
Absolutely.
And that's a huge thing. So for me, one of the biggest things that this business did, and this is a very valuable lesson for everybody, because I'll never forget the time I was pitched by a person who said, "Give me $200 and I'll make you 1,000." And I'm like, "How?" And they wouldn't answer me. And it's like, "Well, I'm not giving you any money if you're not even going to tell me what you're going to do with it." But in our business, we have the 30-day money back guarantee, right? And
Right.
that is crucial. That's one of the things I will always look for.
Right.
And specifically now, it's
Right.
because I can go through and learn everything about everything, and if it's not for me, I can get my money back in 30 days, within the 30 days. Huge.
Yes.
And that I always believe that when people take that step, they need to take that step, because if you look at the surface of what we do, it may be confusing for some people who aren't in the online space or so on and so forth, and they're looking for a change, but they need to realize that, you know what, take that step. It's not very much money, and really, it's 30-day money back guarantee. So what do you have to lose? The only thing you have to lose is a chance to change your future.
That's correct.
Absolutely.
That's absolutely correct.
Well said.
Thank you,
Yes.
Elden. Wow, you mentioned something that struck a nerve. You mentioned the pandemic. The pandemic was a game changer. A lot of people lost jobs because, and I remember here in the US, there was this whole vibe, I'll call it a vibe, about whether what you're doing is considered as essential. We had these essential workers and the rest of us weren't considered essential workers. If you weren't in the medical field, healthcare giver or something, then and things were very tricky, and it really changed the way we look at business and how we work. Okay, moving forward, it taught us to have that kind of alternative to whatever it is that we're doing. Have something that can survive a lockdown. Okay, it can survive a lockdown, or or something that you can do that is quite
Yeah.
not dependent on the usual ways of doing business. Wake up in the morning, do your breakfast, go on the road, go sit at your desk and do what we call traditional business or work. If you can do that from wherever you are, you know, just as you said, with just a mobile phone, you were able to say, hey, you know what? If I'm to go into business, I need something that I can comfortably do, where I don't need to spend so much time figuring out things, but the system has been created for me. The websites have been created for me. All I have to do is concentrate on business, okay? What I do best. And, sit back and make some money. Why not? So I like that part of things. And yeah, it is a very big game changer, the pandemic. And I think many people in our audience will agree that that's quite a game changer, not just for you,
Yeah.
but for many people.
Yes.
Dorothy M.
All
Um,
right.
can you take it away?
Okay. Great. So, Mr. Eldon, so were there any moments that you felt, like I want to give up, because we know that in any business we have challenges. There's no way it's going to be smooth all the way. You have challenges here and there, and you feel like, hey, man, I am done. I am done with this. And so, what really motivated you to keep going?
So whenever you're doing any kind of business or any kind of anything, you have to
Yes.
remember your why, right? You have to remember why you started in the first place, because it's so easy to actually give up. that, realistically, it's really easy to go, okay, I'm done. It doesn't work, and we're not going to play anymore.
Right.
Yes.
And as adults, we really need to, not act like a little kid sometimes, because that's kind of what that is.
Right.
It's kind of the mentality of, oh, it didn't work, so I have to quit. That doesn't mean anything. But when you focus on why you started in the first place and what your goal is, and you have to keep the goal in your face. Keep the reminder, whatever that is. And because everybody has different goals. I mean, there's a lot of people who come in who are here to make extra money, which is really how we all start. But
Right.
as you evolve in our community and in our business, you start to evolve as a person too. And I think when you start really digging down into deep, you realize that life isn't just money, right? Money is a tool that we use to create different things and give us different opportunities. But when you're looking at it and you're moving forward, it's keep the why in your head. That's the biggest motivation you have. And yeah, we all have those bumps in the road where we just kind of, need to take a break. And it's okay to actually stop for a little bit and just go, okay, I just need to breathe and deal with what I'm feeling. Because if you have a feeling, you have to experience the feeling. That's my belief. You have to go through the feeling. And the important thing is never give up. Like we do say one thing in our community, and you will never fail as long as you never give up. And that's I'm just going to touch on one little thing that you said, David, just because I really need to. And that is the whole thing when you're talking about the pandemic, and I don't want to stay on this topic, but there was a blessing that came out of the pandemic.
Right.
And that blessing was it showed everybody in the world that there was other ways to live.
Exactly.
Because when you're talking to parents, especially, young parents, and they drop their kids off at daycare or pick them up at the end of the day, they're losing those moments in life.
Right.
And even as adults, when maybe your kids are gone, but you're still giving your time for money, and you forget. And we're so conditioned to thinking this is what you have to do, right? You have to go to work. You have to do this. You have to do that. But the one thing that we learned is that, you know what? When you have quality time with people, it changes your life. And
Right.
a lot of people, because of it, started taking back control of their world. And that, to me, is one of the biggest blessings that happened. It was a horrible time, but there was lots of blessings that came out of it. And now people are looking for those choices. They're reevaluating what they lived and how they want to live their life. The norm isn't the norm anymore.
Yeah. Wow.
So in every adversary is a silver line.
Yep.
Yes.
Just when you think it's so bad, the sky is falling, there lies an opportunity.
Yep.
There lies an opportunity for you to rethink and readjust in many areas. And I believe you that the pandemic made us rethink the way we live our lives. I also know a lot of people now thinking, parents especially, are thinking of homeschooling their children, because these are all alternatives to doing things. You're running your business online, you're homeschooling your kids. I mean, then you do have actually an opportunity or the time to homeschool, But
Yes.
yeah, so I understand. And thank you, Elden, for that. Thank you very much. We have Dorothy N. Coach Dorothy N. Please take it away. You have a question for Elden?
Oh, yes, I have, but I would love to thank Elden the first, when he was talking about the pandemic, you know, I was I think I was one of the victim of that because, I had this little boy, and at the same time, even if you are an essential worker, I believe if you are a parent, however much most of people in the healthy care, they're like, I even um I have a friend who is in a healthy care, he's a nurse, and he's like, Dorothy, I don't want pandemic to end. I'm like, are you serious? It's like, I made money like I've never made this money in my career. But during this pandemic time, I made like crazy money. However, I have a challenge that the daycares are closed. So that that means it's a blessing in disguise that this is where I have to look for a home setting where I should be taking my kid because all the daycares are closed. And these people, since it is now COVID, they have, they were taking like about 10 kids before, but now because of social distance and everything, they're taking about 5 kids, 4 kids, and that means they are doubling the daycare fees. It's like, I made a lot of money, but the way I made it, it's the way like it is
I was
going.
losing it.
It is the same that I spend all this money the way I make it. However much I'm like I've never made this money in my career, but during this period I made a lot of money. But unfortunately, the way I made it is the way these guys are taking it in bills. It's like, well, I really don't understand now what kind of life is this. I think now we should start up something whereby even if something happens, you can work in the comfort of your home. I'm like, is a nurse telling me this now? Because we all know these people are working it, like they're making money. And we thought that, there's even no nurse or a doctor can even start up something like thinking of working online. And it's like, well, I did, me myself, I did the AML, the anti-money laundering. And the reason why I was doing it? It's because I wanted to work online. I thought, oh, I'm going to apply a job. I do work online. Guess, my dear friends, it's the same thing like going to 9 to 5 job. You cannot work without, even if you're working online, but you are working for somebody, you don't have that time freedom. Trust me, you cannot be with a meeting with with a baby like around you. Of course it is gonna be the same thing, like, oh, it's just because I'll be in the comfort of my home, but I will still have that pleasure, like that pressure of 9 to 5 job. So I realized, I think I should get something I should own. However, it's online business, but I have to own it. But the AML, the anti-money laundering analyst, it was not mine. That's why I felt like I'm still at the 9 to 5 job, however much I was doing it in the comfort of my home. And I had other jobs. I had this money, the healthy and safety environment officer. So it was kind of thinking that working online, getting a job and work online, it's all done. You're gonna have that time with your kids, but hell no. If you're not owning it, you're still going back there. So that pandemic, it really, I think it's an eye opener for most of us. And thank you very much. So my question, oh, I'm talking too much. Sorry about that. But so here is my question. Have you ever encountered like any technical challenges or obstacle in the development or maintenance of your online platform, and how do you overcome them?
So it's interesting when you say the technology and so on and so forth. So in our business, we don't. I should say to me, we don't do that much technology. In the way that I think of it. So we don't do the maintaining our websites or our emails or something like that, because to me that's a lot of technology. So when it comes to how we do things like with ads and posts and communicating with with different people who are prospects who are interested in learning things, are the technical things? Yes. They're I don't know if I would call them technical though. They're more, to me, they're more like sometimes you have to learn the limitations of a platform, right? Because we do so many different platforms that our training covers, and it's fantastic. But there's little things that, of course, in social media world that will change in a heartbeat. That yesterday they're one way, tomorrow they're a different way, and those little things I do find are irritating. But I don't think they're necessarily a tech to overcome them. So they're not necessarily something to overcome. There's something to learn, right? So you take what you're experiencing and learn and adapt and problem solve. So I have to say that being online business owners in so many different platforms that we're in, I do think that we become really good problem solvers. Is because whether it's for ourselves or whether it's for a business colleague, we learn different things that we have to put into practice to make sure they work, right? And and the other big thing that we say in our community is test, 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 right? Test, test, test. And so when you're looking at whatever the challenge that you have, see if there isn't a way to work around it. See, test, 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 because it's true. um, and I've seen in many different platforms, and there's this one we're on is one of the ones that can be sometimes very most fascinating, as in Facebook, and as they roll out different things, all five of us could have a different back office at the same time. Different components could be the different for each of us, and that is challenging, but it's not something to overcome. It's something to learn from, and the more you learn, the more you will change, and the more you help others too. How's that?
Yeah.
Super.
Yeah. Wow,
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Interesting.
Elden. You know what, Elden? Digital business, yes, it's like other traditional businesses. Definitely, there's no business that doesn't have challenges. Okay, and how you face or how you deal with these challenges is purely a mindset thing. Is how I can say, because they'll keep coming. But just as you said, it's about continuous improvement. Okay, trying things, a different way to see if you will get a different result. Okay, research, because it's your business. You're out there trying to see how other people are doing it, what you can do better to match up with what's actually working. Okay, for instance, if I give you an example of, say, an advert, you can choose to run an advert for a business or for a product you're trying to sell out there. But if you don't seem to get the results you're looking for, the thing that should come to your mind is, who are my competitors? What are they doing? How are they doing it different from what I'm doing? That's research. So go out there, watch other people's videos, watch their ads, and see which one of those ads is catching you, has an effect on you. If it does, it surely might be having an effect on other people too. Okay, put yourself in the shoes of a viewer or somebody that is watching your ad. If you're not convinced yourself of your work, then I think you have your answer. Who will be as convinced? So continuous improvement, research, test, try it, give it some time, 1 week,
Yes.
2 weeks, see how it performs, because testing is a process. You can't be putting out something and expecting quick results. It's not a get rich quick scheme. These are businesses, not get rich
Scam.
quick kind of schemes.
Pyramid.
Okay, so you're coming out here to do business, to put in work, and to make a living of whatever it is. But I think people come into the digital space thinking things are going to be working fast. They hear of crypto, they hear of so many things. A lot of things are out there, and they think, there's a quick killing here. It's a business, It's only that it's a different way of doing things. So yeah, thank you for your explanation there, and
Yeah, excuse me,
Yes.
David.
I
Addition
also
of that.
chip in.
mhm.
I also wanted to chip in there.
Okay.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Go fast,
Please.
Dorothy.
Okay, all right. So, on addition on that, that's get quick reach. Anything in my country, they always, I don't know if it's only in my country, but they always say going that easy come, easy go. So if it's like if you get something easily, so that thing to go away, it's gonna be super easy to lose it. So, and the other thing, like, take an example. When you're building a house, there's that concrete. If you put less, if like you put like small cement or less concrete for you to start building your house, trust me, if I use a lot of like 100 cements, and for you you're just using 5 cements, your house it's gonna be down within like how many, like 2 years, 3 years. And mine can even take forever, even generations and generations gonna find it there, because it is a hard concrete, like it's a heavy concrete I started with. And the other thing, like in other business, guys, when you're starting up a business, put it in mind that you're giving birth to a baby. Okay, you're giving birth to a baby, and your baby is small, like baby of one day. You cannot compare the baby of like 3 weeks, right? And a baby of, let me say, 1 year, you cannot compare this little baby, for like a person who is 5 years, a baby of 5 years. Of course, you're going to find a lot of people in this business. You're going to find it when you join our community, you will find a lot, like a lot of people making 6 figures a month, making 5 figures a month. And you will think that immediately when you join the business, you're gonna like start making that much. To be honest with you, you're in the wrong place. No way. No way. Because
Absolutely.
you're giving birth to a baby, okay? So this baby, you have to, feed your baby. If you're a mom, you have to breastfeed your baby, when you're breastfeeding your baby, you're not comparing for a baby who has just fed a bottle, right? I'm not like I'm not offending anybody, mothers, but let's talk reality. Like this is a bitter truth, right? You cannot compare a baby who was breastfeeded to a baby who is, a bottle feed, right? So there's really this breastfeed baby is organic baby, and the bottle baby it is, well, organic, but yes, you all know, mothers know, mothers know. Let's go there. But I'm just trying to come up with a picture that you have to hold your baby. I started my business now 2 years ago. Of course, my baby now is walking. And remember, I will never see my baby going back crawling, right? Because it's now running. So now your baby is like starting to sit, he has to stand, they have to work, they have to run. So take time. It's not a get quick rich scheme, guys. You have to come knowingly that you are giving birth to a baby. But once your baby starts to run, you will never see him or her back crawling, right? So
Right.
it's
Now,
the same thing
yes.
as as any business. Actually, it's not even
Yes.
only our business. As long as you have the right strategies, you have the right system, you have mentors, you have coaches. And by the way, any business, like any business, even if it's not an online business, like me, back home, I had a mentor. And it's because my mom taught me that everybody who is older than me, most especially, they know a lot than me. So I have to get a person who is in that field, like who has that knowledge than me, so that this person can mentor me. So in our business, you already even have a coach, you have a mentor. It means you already have somebody who is mentoring you. So for me, back home, I was not doing an online business, but I have a mentor. I believe anybody who is like, if you have a mindset of building up, and even if it's not an online business but owning a business, trust me, you have to be with a mentor, you have to be with a coach, and this is what our business provides. So it was just an like additional, and thank you very much for the opportunity.
Yes, Ferry. You had something to
Yes,
add on
thank
to
you,
that.
Dorothy. She's mentioned something that really I wanted to say as well, but let me just emphasize that point. As I mentioned that my father was an entrepreneur, I watched him work. And we learn visually. You watch TV and learn. Your children watch things and learn. So the same way, I watched my father go through his dailies, and I learned quite a number of things. I learned that to be able to have true dominion, I must work for myself because I saw him live that kind of lifestyle. But I cannot say that there were no challenges. Challenges were there, absolutely. But the difference was that with this system that we're talking about, there is support. When I watched him work, for him, he used to hustle with his challenges, shops would close or businesses would close, or he has no person to talk to or to run to. But here you have a community of over 200 and is it 200,000 people?
Thousand.
Yeah, 200
You know,
plus. 200,000
yeah,
plus.
these are communities. We've met Elden today, personally, but it's as though I've known you for years. They're there to support you get better each and every day. We have coaches. Every Tuesday and every Wednesday, there is a live session where you get to interact with people and ask questions. So that kind of support system is what makes the difference in this particular business. So, yeah, that's what I was saying. Challenges are there, but there's a support system because that's how it is. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, a little bit on that. Actually, when it comes to challenge, yes, what Farish is talking about, it's really true. There's no business without a challenge. But the most important thing, do you have a solution for that challenge? And in our training, all solutions are there. So you are not going to find any business if you know any business without a challenge, my dear. Even giving birth, there's challenges. You all know. So I believe when it comes to challenges, everything, even my little kids, they have their own challenges. They might be want to watch the TV. I'm like, this time it's not time for TV. That's their challenge. So everything, every human thing or human being, trust me, there's a challenge. Even just a tree growing, it has a challenge once you don't water it, right? But now you have a solution. You just have to water this tree so that it can grow. That means you have a solution for the challenge, right? So challenges with a solution, fear no challenge. I always say fear no challenge if you have a solution for it. Thank you.
Yeah, I want to add something because I just like the way Mr. I say Doctor, okay, Mr. Eldon said, you have to always, when you get challenges, just think why. Why did you start it? Why did you even think about starting a business? That should be actually even enough to keep you going. I just loved it. I just loved it how he just put it. Your why. So when you come in with a why, have that vision board reminding you about your why. And when you get a challenge, you look at your vision board, remind yourself about your why. I really think it's gonna get you going. And I loved it how he really put it out there about your why and how important it is for us to have a why as we come in or as we start any type of business. Yeah.
Thank you, Dorothy. And yeah, that was a good catch. He actually mentioned the why to be pivotal to the success of your business, your why or your goals. Very important. And I think one of these days we should come back and just talk about why we do what we do. Because if you don't have things well defined, you tend to wear off your zeal and your enthusiasm to do things wears off because the why is not strong enough or it's not defined, But if you've taken the time to define why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing, okay, if you're able to take yourself back in time, around that time you made the decisions to do what you're doing, if that can be well defined and you can have reference to it, if it's on a vision board or if it's written somewhere, but somewhere you can always read and have that as a reminder before you start your day. Trust me, I believe that to be a very good reason to keep you moving. So Elden, thank you very much for pointing that out. And I think it's one of those things that we should learn from. And because Elden has been doing these businesses, digital business. He told you he's what did you call it? Serial entrepreneur.
Serial entrepreneur.
I like that. A serial entrepreneur. You know what that means? You all hear of serial killers, right? But this is a serial entrepreneur. It means he does business after business after business until he gets something to work. He doesn't give up. He'll do it and do it again and do it again. And he's just a doer. So looking at that, Elden, is it's that tells me something about you as a person. You just don't give up. You have something that keeps you pushing. And that's something that I would like our audience to go away with tonight. And I believe if we can work on our whys and have that strong enough reason, we'll become serial entrepreneurs or the best at what we do if we found ourselves eventually in whatever we're doing.
Can I add something there, David?
Yes, please.
Okay. So the one thing when you're talking about the why and everything else, but the other thing to really ask your viewers, and actually we don't have to ask them, they have to ask themselves.
Right.
If you don't change anything at
Right.
this moment in time in your life, what's going to change?
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Right?
That's
True.
And
You
so
don't change anything.
when you're looking at your life and maybe you're not happy, maybe you're looking
Right.
for something to change, but if you're sitting there and you have to make the choice for change, you have to make the decision that you're done with whatever you're dealing with and you're looking
Correct.
for something better. Because if you have a dream or a why that you don't do anything with, guess what?
Yes,
It's never going to happen.
absolutely.
That's very
Right?
true.
So
It's
here in our community, and when you're watching this and or watching the replay or whatever you're doing, they presented, lots of information about this business, but also check it out. You have to take that step. And
Yeah.
everybody here,
Action.
yeah, you have to take action, but you have to decide that you had enough of where you are.
Mm-hmm.
And then your why will unfold as you grow because your why is going to evolve. You're going to get
Right.
bigger and bigger whys and bigger dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And my big thing that for people watching is don't give up on yourself. Don't settle for a life that isn't the fullest you can make it. Because you can create the life you want. And in our community, the tools are there to help. And so reach out to anyone and ask. Get the information. Like I said, the 30-day, money back guarantee. You have nothing to lose, but make the decision to change.
Thank you.
I'm done. Sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Elden.
Well done.
anything-
Yes.
Risk free. It's a $149 risk free. All this
Yes.
funded.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and Elden, hey, you're here to share your tricks in the game. You're the one with the most experience in digital business. So,
Yeah.
anything,
The floor is yours.
yeah,
Yes.
anything to share with our viewers. And I have a fifth question for you. Can you share any valuable lessons? This can come in as an addition to everything you've been telling us. Can you share any valuable lessons or insights, you've gained from your experience as an online business entrepreneur? Generally, when you look at digital business and your experience over the years, what can you leave with our viewers? Any insights?
The biggest thing is to make sure that you, as an individual, are doing the best you can with what you have. And you're always looking to improve where you are. And when I say that, it's really easy. It goes back to the whole give up thing. But when you're, the testing really matters. Because if you just look at it and you don't try to change anything and you're not getting the results you want, then you have to change something, right? You have to.
That's true.
You can't just look at it and go, okay, this is what I'm doing. It's not working, and I look at this in a lot of different ways and a lot of different businesses. And it doesn't matter whether it's brick and mortar or whether it's digital or anything. Nobody built a business this is real slide in there. Nobody built a successful life really well without being an entrepreneur of some kind. Okay.
That's true.
And no business is built just instantly or without headaches. Because
Correct.
everything evolves. So we evolve. If you think, I'm going to use your baby analysis because that was really cool, actually, Dorothy. Because when you're looking at it, and we have the growth of the business, right? It's on its own. So you're helping grow a business and letting it grow itself. And as you're giving it more information and more fuel, and us as humans, we aren't born and we are not the same when we get through our lives, right?
Right.
Yeah.
We have different beliefs that happen. We have different goals that happen. We have different everything. And then for moms, you have a lot because you have kids. With that, but I mean those are big changes. So think about that. Think about life in the same way that you think about a business. You have to nurture it. You have to help it grow. You have to its own entity that you are in control of. And when you look at it like that, what are you going to do about it? And you have to keep it growing. That's about all.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
really
Yeah.
um, an
Thank
addition
you.
on that, they change. Thank you very much, Mr. Alden. When you talk about change, that once you don't change, nothing is gonna change. Like for me, when I came here, I always love to use like live examples. When I came in the US in 2019, like all people, all immigrants, that, the jobs we start from, you go to caregiving, to security guard, and sometimes we couldn't even go back to our professions. And sometimes if you're to go back, you have to go through a lot of things. Sometimes you have to go for a student loan. You're not yet, like for me, I'm talking on my, as me, like me, my situation was so. And I'm like, this caregiving, it's not something for me taking care of somebody. This money I make, will it allow me to take care of myself at my elderly age? To be honest, it was no. No way a $15 per hour can take care of me in my retirement. Right? So I'm like, I have to change. If I remained there and I didn't go to look for something else, and I didn't go to try out if I can go back to my field, the one I was working way back home, that means even I don't think I would have even landed on this opportunity, because I don't need change. Then why do I look for change? So that means all about the change, you have to look for that change. If you don't look for it, no way the change will look for you. So it was
Yes,
just an addition of
absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Elden.
Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Also, just to add on something also, the reasons why we don't have the change, sometimes we hold ourselves back, literally. But I've seen people walk into this business, I inclusive. You walk in shy and you become a people person. You walk in an introvert. By the time you walk out of that door, you're a different person altogether. The experience, the training they give you, the coaching, the mentorship program automatically transforms your mind. And
Exactly.
actually the running. So the minute you start, it's not easy, but it's doable. As long as, again, you hold on to your why, you don't give up, you're you're hungry for a change, then you can make it
Yeah.
happen. Because another thing that I've also seen differently, by the way, our time is up. Another thing that we have actually recognize also is that when you see other people, because they share freely, they share their success stories. The way you see Dorothy telling you, the way you see Elden telling you, people share their success stories and their earnings openly. So when you see others making it, you're inspired on a daily. So to me, that's all positive. This is something else. Absolutely, it's a different ballgame. Yeah, thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, Ferry. Thank you, Ferry. Thank you, Dorothy. Thank you, everybody, for your contributions. Elden, thank you for sharing your wonderful experience with us. You know what? Just as you were talking about, just as you were trying to give us some insights, something just came to my mind. When you're doing in academics, project management, there is a point where we say, what are the lessons learned for every project you're working on, be it at work, be it your personal project. As you go along documenting and building the project, at every stage you have to pause a little and note those lessons. Have a lessons learned area where you say, okay, what did we do last time? Where did we fail? Where did we score? How can we do that better moving forward? So that by the time you're working your next stage or the stages to come, you know that so and so is not to be trusted because we worked with him on stage one and he failed us. So stage two, I think we better look for somebody else. So you've learned your lesson with their experience, or you know of a process that worked and you replicate it here, or you improve and move on until the end of the project. That's how you're able to see the growth. And then it brought me back to what Dorothy said about um, the analogy between business and a child. Okay, when you have children, when you're blessed to have children, if stunted growth doesn't bother you as a parent, then there's a problem with the way you look at life. If stunted growth doesn't bother you, what do I mean? There are stages and there are expectations at these stages. So when a child is a certain age, they're supposed to do certain things. And then they're supposed to sit, crawl, stand, walk, run, or attempt to run. You know what I mean? Then they go into school. You are supposed to be watching all these stages. Are they ready for school? When they go to school, are they learning? Is school interesting? Are they, are they ready for school, or school is not a thing for them? These are things you have to be looking at. But if a child is 4 years and they haven't walked, okay, then we have a problem. And considering that same analogy of a child, I'm looking at business and I'm saying, as we start businesses, or everybody that is going into this digital space, or, when you're becoming an entrepreneur, it means you're going to birth something. Okay? Now, if you don't plan for it the same way you plan for your child and have some kind of a timeline, or yes, life has a way of throwing stones at us, but what we do with those stones is what really makes a difference in our lives. Do you build a bridge, or what do you do? Like they say, when life throws lemons at you, you make lemonade. If it throws stones, make a bridge. Do something, you know what I mean? So, but the point is, if you're looking at it from that kind of analogy, I'm telling you, we need to go down to the drawing board. Thank you to Elden and for this conversation. Now I'm looking at things a little different than how I walked in today. That at the end of the day, we owe it to ourselves to put our digital businesses, all these businesses we're creating, put them on a timeline and kind of work it out and say, where do I see myself? That's the question for entrepreneurs. Where do you see yourself, or where do you see the business in 5 months? Okay. Coach Dorothy always asks me the question that you should be at this level. Where do you see yourself? Or you should be at this level within 6 months or that. That's very key, because if you don't have that kind of a plan or that kind of a mindset and start working towards something, okay, you're likely to fall in a trap of stunted growth, where you will stay for a very long time at a stage, okay, and don't move, not because you can't, but because you're not trying the different things Elden was talking about. Research, innovation, continuous improvement, testing. These are the things that go in to try and do it different so that you can get a different result. Otherwise, stunted growth. And if stunted growth doesn't bother you, then there's a problem. And that's what I'm saying. Thank you, Elden. I don't think there was a better way to put it.
David, but the problem is you, right? Who doesn't look for that change? Yeah.
Exactly. So the problem is you, because if stunted growth doesn't bother you, then there's a problem with you as a parent, because it should. Every parent is scared to have their kids not follow through the stages. You worry because you wouldn't want to take your child to first grade when they're probably 10 years or 12 years. It means there's something wrong. They should be at a certain stage, at a certain age. So these are the things I'm talking about. And I'm like, you know what? The same way we look at life is the same way we should look at these businesses, and watch out for stunted growth, and watch out that we do things to move the businesses where we can let them be, where we can let them be. Yes, rather than all the time have to depend on us. But you started a business, started a system. I loved what Coach Pamela said the last time we had a session here. You should be able to bring in other people to help you in this business. Okay, this is not a business to run by yourself forever. No, you should be able to grow it and have other people come in and take it away. So that is the mindset. Thank you,
Yeah.
Elden, for your time. I don't know whether there's anything
There are
else
very
that you
many
would like to
questions.
add
There are very
on,
many questions. As in
but
their comments, I can see comments as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
yes.
Let's see how
There are
let's
very
just
many who
Somebody
have
read the
joined.
comments for us,
Let's
Yes,
please.
see.
please.
Let's see
No,
if Mr. Eldon wants to still stay for the comments, or has been a
okay.
little while for him.
Yeah, it
So
has been a little while. We stretched you. Sorry about that, Mr. Hild.
That's okay.
there's there's a Naroga here asking for a tip from you, Mr. Eldon. You see, any tip, any special tips I'm seeing from
Let me
Naroga?
see. This
Well,
person.
first, I'll just say thank you all. I really enjoyed this, and thank you for having me again. So I just wanted to say that before we wrap up. Just thank you. Great advice today. And whether or not you want me to stay for the comments, it's entirely up to you. So
Oh, okay. Thank you. So
oh,
it's just
let Mr. Eldon also. He can answer some of the questions. Like any tips, it's day. It's Mr. Eldon day. So let's give him a chance to answer some of the
Yes,
questions to our
yes,
viewers.
okay.
Any
exactly.
tips for
Yes,
go ahead, Ferry. I think you saw that one. Can you tell
yes, it's from
Eldon
bring
what
it up.
is
Naroga.
it? Yes.
That's Naroga, and she's asking any tips,
Any
any
tips?
tips for
Okay.
us, or
This
is it
is
for them?
yeah.
it any tips is such a general category
It
Oh,
is.
because
Yes.
Okay.
how do I
So
scale? Oh, there you go.
yeah,
How does
Naroga, how
Then
do I scale this business? I think she wants to join the business. So let her just reach any of us. So Naroga it's still Naroga, any tips? So it's trying to
yes,
maybe start a
she's
business, wants to
yeah.
join the business. So she should reach out to any of us. Just inbox or wherever you are watching us, just go to the description. There's a link. Type in your name and email address. You will be in touch with any of us here. Okay, Naroga, we are glad to have you in our community, and just reach any of us here.
yeah.
Okay. Mhm. She's the same person. How do I scale this business? Naroga,
Oh,
yeah,
she's already in the business. Oh, it looks like she's already in the
how
business.
do
She
I
just
I
says, how
think
does
so.
she scale?
She's already in the
How do you
business.
grow the business? Literally, scaling would be how do I grow the business? How do I grow the business
Mhm.
so that it can handle many customers? How
Mm.
do we grow this business? I
you
think that's exactly what she's looking at.
you
And she
start you
needs
and
scaling.
seeing how you're already in the business. I'm just going to kind of do a little spiel. That means the training is all there for you, and
Mhm.
that means you have to go through the training, but also reach out to your coach and your mentor just to talk and see different things, different ideas. But the other thing too is remember that
Mhm.
each of us individually, are one of
Mhm.
the key parts of our business. So even though you see something that is working for somebody else, it may not work for you. You have to find you. So who are you targeting? Who are you looking at to say, this is who I am, this is who I want to work with? So
Mhm.
you need to take the training and really start applying it to your business and your life. There's a difference.
Well, she's already
Hopefully
in the
that,
business.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay, just reach out. Hey, Naroga, just reach out to your coach or mentor. They'll be able to guide you through step by step, or you can reach any of us here. Okay. All right. So let's have Shayla. She's saying hello, watching from Boston. So you can put in a comment section wherever you are watching us. For who are catching up the replay, guys, thank you very much. And who else here? I don't think we're gonna go through everything. It's a lot of comments here. Juliet, a wonderful start time. Oh, thank you,
There's a
Juliet.
D Hannah watching us from US. Yes.
Okay, so I don't think I'm gonna go through everything. There's this one watching from Switzerland. Jane, wow, it's night there. Thank you. Oh, great job. Okay, we have Kate here saying, "Well said, coach." Thank you, Kate.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ed.
We have
Thank
a
you.
lot of them. We have Mark watching from
There's
the US,
Sheila as well. Mhm.
and we have Sheila too.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's Sheila. Yes.
Oh,
Thank you so much for joining us, Sheila.
Thank you, guys. It's a lot. I don't think I'm gonna go through each and everything. There are a lot of comments here, and if we didn't go through it, please don't, don't be like we love you. Just know we love you. Okay, we love you. Okay, guys. So I think that's it for today. Unless if you have any question, you're ready to go. Hmm.
All right.
Oh, there's this one watching from Canada. Oh, yes, Miss Ayodin, that's this one from your country, this Canada. You guys amazing. Thank you, Hope. Okay. And there is Angela here watching from New York. There is Dihana. I just joined too, and I am a member. I am a
Congratulations.
member new.
Yes.
Okay. All right, guys. So if you have any other, maybe something you're telling to our viewers, me, thank you very much. And we are really humbled to have you, Mr. Elden, here. And we appreciate our first guest gentleman on our platform. We really thank you. Thank you. Always, we only have
Thank you.
David.
Thank
Yes,
you,
David.
Elvin.
You have a
Thank you.
challenger in the building, right?
There are
Elden.
people who say, there are people always
Thank you,
asking,
Elvin.
hey,
Yeah.
do men do this business?
Of
And we are
course,
like,
there's a
yes,
man here today, you know?
yes.
Yeah.
Elden, there's been a challenge here. A lot of people keep asking, is this a business for women?
For women?
Why do we always see the ladies doing this business?
Do you want?
It's because a lot of guys, we do things in the background. We're in the business. We juggle a lot of things, but when there's an opportunity, we come in. This time round, we had Elden show up.
On the forefront.
Very excited because we've been here for at least 6-7 weeks now, and you're our first male guest, and we're really, really excited. The fact that you're coming with that kind of experience, 15 years in the digital space, we said, you know what, let's bring somebody who's been here and understands how to navigate the digital space, to share with us and
Yes, thank you.
give other guys, the courage to come on and, share the experiences.
So I'm just going to say one little thing. I'm just going to tag that. I mean, I know we've gone over what you wanted to, but this one is kind of humorous. So when because you're right, there's a lot more women well, I shouldn't say that. It seems like there's a lot more women in our business than men. But
Right.
I will chuckle on this because I have opinions. Surprise. But the one is, you're right, David. There's a lot of men who are supporting the women
In the back.
Yes.
behind the scenes.
The background.
Yes.
Right.
And the other part
Dorothy's husband. I know.
Yes.
He's
Yes.
always in the background.
it's very true. And
By
the other part that I always find humorous, and maybe this is just a blanket, but to me it's very true. A lot of men are too negative. They're too skeptical.
Oh,
They get stuck in thinking that there is only the traditional way to do it.
Right.
Oh.
And so they go, well, how's it going to work for me? I don't know what this is. And they don't give themselves the chance to learn.
Right.
And I think that is just one of those things that, I don't know how to say this without sounding really horrible,
yes.
but
Mindset.
we get focused.
Yeah.
We get focused on the things that we're doing one at a time.
Tunnel vision.
Exactly.
Tunnel vision.
And it's like,
Yes.
hello, there's opportunity over here.
But you say tunnel vision. This is what we call it.
Right? And
Yes.
so
Absolutely.
so when you're having the women, they're going, this could work.
I know.
Yeah.
And you have men who are going, I don't even know what that is. I don't want to talk about it. And so men have to be more open-minded because,
I hope.
Yeah, go ahead.
Elden, I hope this doesn't land Dorothy M in trouble. But Dorothy, this Dorothy here, is in business with David, the husband. David is my. I'm David too. but
Namesake.
I've not met David. I always say, hey, where's David? Bring David up here, you know. But David is supporting from the background. He said, I'll show up when you know
I really
when
want
I'm
to
ready.
think,
And I'm saying,
David.
when will you ever be ready? Just show up.
I really want to think. No, I really want to think that women have what it takes to do this business. Really, yeah,
Mhm.
we have it all. I want to think we are patient, we are resilient, we are hardworking. You know, all those traits. I think that's why we are more than the men. What do
Oh,
you
Mhm.
think?
really? Okay.
Yeah,
That's
and yeah, actually, addition on that, to me, what I've realized, because I do a lot of coaching calls and I talk to a lot of people, doctors, nurses, caregivers, wherever, like any professional, and I realized that most of the men, they think social media is for ladies. That's what I
yeah.
think, because you're
Oh,
going to find out, and I know a lot of people in our community, they're like killing it. And the ladies, they are like the face of the business. And then the husbands, they are the back. And when ladies come up and like, oh, this is my journey, this is my successful, and you hear this person saying, you know what? I was skeptical, but my husband was the one pushing me. These people that are the back, they're like, ladies are the one to be, they're that kind of thing. But to be honest with you, there's a lot of men in our community just because they're supporting their waves at the background, like
yes,
in the
yes,
background. But there are a lot
yes,
of them. Hmm.
All right,
absolutely.
guys. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
Um, we end this. Thank you for participating. Thank you for being very supportive in the chat and comments area. Elden, thank you for coming. Thank you for your time. We wish you more success in this digital realm. And ladies, thank you for co hosting. And let's see you again next weekend, Sunday, same time, 2 p.m. PST. And is it 5 p.m. Eastern
Hmm.
Time?
Yes.
Okay.
Till the next time. Bye
All right.
bye.
Bye bye,
Thank you. Thank
everybody.
you.